We can have a laugh. Yeah, so I'll just try and pick it up on here. See if we are, in fact, live to the world, ladies and gentlemen, as the clock strikes 5 here in the UK, and we finish work for the day, a little bit late, because I had some other stuff to nail. Let's have a look, and hopefully...
I think we're live.
We should be. I'm hoping to just get a little bit of confirmation of that.
Yeah, I can see us. I got us pulled up.
Good, because I can't see a goddamn thing. My end.
We'll take John's word for it.
Well, yeah. Dave, a little bit of just so we get you leveled up and see you at your sexy best, son. Can you just turn your phone on?
I can. Yeah.
Let's get you.
Sorry, guys. I'm not pro like you guys.
Hey, there's only one pro on this call.
That's all.
Let me tell you right now. Let's have another look at this puppy. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's Friday night.
Yeah.
Well, it's not Friday night where you are, though, is it, John?
No, I got 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, sir. Friday night for myself and the mighty Bradford. We're ready to go, ready for the weekend.
Yes, we are.
Up in Scotland, David, I believe the sun is shining.
The sun is shining, Neil. Yeah, it's quite rare, but it's shining at the moment. Yeah, don't jinx it.
Here in the northwest of England, the sun is shining. In Nova Scotia, Canada, John, what's happening?
We got some rain today, but let me tell you what. Tuesday, I was at practice. It was about 40 degrees Celsius in the practice room.
Nice.
So
hey, it's all good for the weight loss, John.
Right. Well, that's the thing for me. I'm going up now. I'm coming up.
Oh, you're coming up. I've got to come down.
I'm just eating like a pig.
That's probably a good place to start, guys, isn't it? Because I know the rumour mill was getting pretty carried away after Gary put his little thing out there saying that I was planning on getting John leathered, and went out there and he said, hey, David Bradford guy's massive. Now, I bet Dave was sat at home looking at that and thinking, only from the waist down, mother fluffer. At the end of the day, I wanted to sort of get on here and dispel a few myths. David Bradford, give us a little bit of a potted history, mate, of what your weight is now and where you have come from in the sport.
Right, so I started arm wrestling novice, and I've competed pro level at 85 kilo. Mm-hmm. I very quickly went up to 90 kilo and did quite well. I won my first pros at 90 kilo. I've also competed at 95. Up until COVID, about 6 weeks ago, I was almost 100 kilo. So I was pretty much, just below 100 kilo. But now after COVID, I've lost about a stone. So I'm about 95. So I'm almost ready for arm wars right now.
Yeah, that is the weight you guys are wrestling at the 95 kilos. So, David, John has never met you before. You've never met John before. I wanted to sort of dig into both. Oh, super chat flying in there, ladies and gentlemen. Straight off the bat, Michael Todd's calcified bone. Yo, let's go. Dude, let's go. It's Friday. And we've got, it sounds like a monster movie, this, doesn't it? John versus the Dragon. Let's go. And both these guys don't mind rocking a porn task, let me tell you now. You've got John over there in Canada still rolling with it, and it's quite a good look on you, mate, with the new chiseled cheeks look.
I'm getting it. I'm digging it. I thought it was going to be a joke, and I guess the joke's on me because this is just happening now.
It's like you got out there, and you're like, I bet the ladies love this, actually.
I'll be honest, John. About 6 weeks ago, I had my own moustache, but after seeing yours, I had to shave it off. I can't compete.
I was going to come to that, Dave. I was going to come to that and say to you, is it going to be a thing? Is it going to be like stash match?
Neil, I'll be honest, I don't think I can compete. I can't turn up to Arm Wars with John's moustache looking like that. It's not going to happen. You know?
Must admit, he's got a bit of he's made that his own, hasn't he? He's got a big soul.
I'm just trying to hold up the legacy of all the big mustache arm wrestlers in history. You know, you got Todd Hutchings, Herman Stevens, legendary mustaches in this.
It definitely gives you 10%, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
that look was always going to come for you, John, wasn't it? I mean, you went with the Hulk Hogan look. But you remember Superstar Billy Graham used to have that for a while.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And he looked the nuts, didn't he? With his when he had his hair completely bald and just a stash going. What a look that was. Don't come in a bandana though, John, unless it's a really cool one. But if you come in a bandana, you're probably stoned to death in Birmingham.
Oh yeah, they don't appreciate bandanas. Is that the deal?
Funny, guys, just before we came live, we were talking between ourselves, and John said, you know what? Never been to the UK, quite excited, not going to lie. And yeah, we're bringing him to industrial Birmingham. So his first little insight on the UK is going to be proper working man's experience.
It's going to be authentic.
Mate, you're going into the second or arguably third city of London, and it's bang on central as well. Birmingham's right in the centre, and it's a proper working man's area. It's a proper place, you know, proper gaff. Some real little dudes around Birmingham. That's where the Birmingham Bullet himself is from, mate. Craig,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the legend.
And he's on this card. He's got a tough match on this card, actually.
He certainly has.
It's gonna be nice for I think you, John, to number one get a little bit of a feel for and meet some of the guys you probably haven't met yet that you're familiar with from the wider arm wrestling experience that you've got, but never actually met these guys, and that'll be nice, I would imagine, to put names to faces and so on.
Oh, I'm so excited! Like over the last, because I've had this channel now, Uncle John's Arm Wrestling Show, for like almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in August. And like, I've been around for a long time, right? I've been arm wrestling for 10 years. So I know a lot of the guys in North America, but everything has exploded so much for me as far as my awareness of others and others' awareness of me, even though I haven't arm wrestled more than 3 times in the last year. It's just, you know, the amount of people I know in the sport has grown so much. So I'm really excited to see everybody. And get to know guys from the UK and the other competitors that are going to be there. That's high on my list of things I'm looking forward to.
So, John, how long have you been pulling? Is it
about 10 years?
10 years. Right.
Yeah. So now in that 10 years, I went like 3 years really hard, and that's when I lived in the United States, and I pulled in Minnesota. We were all over the place. Had some good success, you know, when you're first starting out, everything's exciting. That was great. And then I moved with my wife to Nova Scotia, Canada, and that's been about 7 years, and pulled a little bit more right away when I got here. But then I was going to university. So I did a master's, I did part of a PhD, and during there I took some breaks, right? The whole university thing tends to steal your soul a little bit. So there was some breaks. And then really when I started the channel about 2 years ago, that's when things kind of went from this is a hobby to we are seriously moving on now into a different type of respect for the sport.
And you've committed really, I mean, it's quite interesting, John, because you've committed really, really hard to not just the YouTube channel element of this. You've committed hard to okay, I am grounding myself as a puller. I'm going to get myself into that upper echelon consideration. Like we've seen Ryan Bowen, he's done exactly the same thing. Yeah. And it's turned into a fabulous arm wrestler, let's be honest. Oh, quick super chat there, Shellac Nelson. Finally caught you live, Neil. Let's get this thing going. Dude, welcome to the show. You're in good time, mate. We've only been on here for about 5 minutes. We're just warming up, just building and building and building. But I'm just going to say, mate, you've really started to, I think, reshape yourself is probably a good way of putting it, because with the help of the mighty Mizel Jador, who I know is probably in the chat. I haven't actually looked, but I'll bet he's in the chat. Mizel Jador is a monster, and he's created a very different version of you, hasn't he? You've worked extensively with him, and you were pulling with the big boys. You were a super heavyweight, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, from always overweight my entire life up until the last about year. So 2 years ago, if you would have found me on the street, I was weighing 320 pounds.
Nice, right? Way of the back tip.
Yeah, we're heavy, and I'm like 5'11", 11, right? So I decided about 2 years ago, I was like, all right, I really got to get myself put together here. We're going to drop and we're going to make 242s for nationals. So this would have been in like 2019. And so I went from 320 down to 265. And then I did a weight cut, a water cut from 265 to 242 for nationals, right? Just the worst type of diet. I just wasn't eating. It wasn't good, right? So I ended up 4th place at nationals at 242. I was happy that I made it, but I wasn't feeling good. So I stopped and I said, okay, let's just try to live at, 265 pounds. So I did that for another year and a half. Then I got together with Mazel. Mazel is from Newfoundland. He was in Nova Scotia. He was just getting into arm wrestling. I met him. He's like, mega. He's done bodybuilding. He does total body transformations. He's got a chest the size of the Playboy Playmate of the Year, for God's sakes. Mm-hmm. And so I asked him if he would be interested in, giving me some guidance. And ever since November of last year, that guy has been on me every single day of my life. And we've gone from 255, 260 down to 190. And now we're slowly building back up. We're at about 203 this morning.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Genuinely, hats off to you, because that is unbelievable.
Yeah. So I'm really excited because my entire career has been really who I believe is probably naturally somewhere between 185 and 200 pounds. But I was pulling with the 250 to 350 pound guys my entire career.
Yeah.
So I really had to develop ways that didn't involve power, because when you have that type of body shape and style, power is not going to work for you. So you get as much power as you can, but then you got to be tricky. You got to be sneaky. You got to go through the back door on a lot of these things. So that's where a lot of my arm wrestling style has come from, is the necessity of defeating guys who are much, much, much more powerful than me.
Now, John, no going back.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, John, no going back through my back door, please, on the first day. I don't put out on the first day.
I'll ask first. I mean, I want to be open with you. The
we got off early there, didn't we? This is, it's 5:15 in the afternoon, and Dave's gone flying in. Welcome to Wales.
Hey, I'll always ask for consent, David.
John, you probably didn't know this guy's got history with Craig Sanders. You need to know that.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard a lot of different things about you guys over there, and floppy dogs, and
Well, yeah. I mean, what can I tell you? I'll leave it for Dave. All you need to know
I
is
think it's best to say nothing, but it could be a seriously awkward love triangle going on here.
Yeah, Craig Sanders and Dave are. Craig's married, of course.
Happily married.
Yeah, happily married, but then with kids. But then there's Dave. There's like Craig and his missus and their kids, and then Dave. I'll let him explain when you come over.
Hey, I am an open person. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, so actually Craig's an open person, particularly 10 minutes after Dave's been round to his house. But we'll move on. So, moving on from that, I wanted to just get a little bit of info about the actual size of you guys in terms of not just weight, but weight is potentially less important in some respects than leverage, than size of hand, size of wrist, length of forearm, things like that. And you guys are quite similar in that respect. So start with you, John. You're what, 5'11", 6 foot?
Like 5'10" and 3/4.
I love that you went for the 3/4. Very Ryan Bowen.
It all counts.
Yay! Every inch, every half inch counts. And let me tell you now. Yeah,
it's a lot if you haven't got it.
It's like you just have to fit. You get.
Can you feel that extra half inch?
Hey, as advertised, love. What I'm saying, it's a full 3.5. That now, and I've had Ryan Bowen on this call regularly, and he reminds me that he is in fact 6'1" and a half.
As he should. As he
He's got me
If
beat.
you got 16 stone to push it in with,
Hey,
helps.
bad man. Try it. So, David, how tall are you, son?
So I'm 6'1". No half inches, just 6'1" on the dot.
On the nose.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you any more sizes. I don't measure my biceps. I don't measure my forearms. I don't measure my hands. I couldn't tell you. I honestly couldn't tell you. Biceps, probably maybe 17.5, 18 inches. Nothing ridiculous. Although I have, being 6'1", I have got a 6'7" wingspan, which is a bit weird, I know.
Yeah, that is quite. That is
monkey
quite.
arms.
Yeah, can you tie your shoelaces stood up?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I
You've
got
got
the
massive hands, John, haven't you? You got big hands. You got a big hand.
Yeah,
haven't
I do have. I don't know what the exact measurement is, but I do have super heavyweight size hands, which is one of the things I'm most excited about pulling closer to 200. Is that like I am a hand-based arm wrestler, right? This is not news to anyone who has ever watched me arm wrestle. And there's two things. I'll give you the tricks, David. The size of the hand, but also the disconnection of the thumb.
Nice.
Right? Double jointed thumbs allow some extra shenanigans, some extra stupidity, all that kind of good stuff. So
good stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to be giving too many trade secrets, John.
I'm just.
I already got so many of his. I might as well.
Yes, there you go.
Gotta even this thing up.
You've been studying him quite hard, haven't you? You've been studying him diligently.
Yeah, well, it's very convenient that the boys over there have a good social media presence. So I've been able to see. I mean, it's only fair. I mean, there's about 8,000 hours of me doing stupid stuff on the internet for you to watch. So I was able to watch quite a bit of David's work. I have my list around here somewhere, but I've got 40 matches or so all listed out. Where's your elbow placement? Are you hooking? Are you top rolling? You know, are you winning? Are you losing? Are you going to straps? You know, I'm a bit of a data nut when it comes to that stuff, just to try to get a little bit of an idea, try to get an intimate knowledge.
Absolutely, John. Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect anything less.
I mean, this is Arm Wars, right?
Hey, it's a big deal.
A professional athlete, professionalism in this sport goes beyond being in the gym. Right, you got to do it.
Absolutely.
You got to.
You're not going to be traveling 3,500 miles to get beat. You want to win, and I totally understand that, John.
That's
absolutely.
It. Yeah. Like I am fully dedicated. I'm lucky because I can be fully dedicated. Right. Like this is what I'm doing. I do have other jobs and blah 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 whatever, but most of my time goes to thinking about getting better at and producing content for arm wrestling. So, David, I'm going to be really obsessing about you. I'm going to be seeing you a lot. I'm going to be, I already know what your parents look like. I've been stalking your Facebook page. They're lovely people.
My dad's a better arm wrestler than me. I'll just send him in instead.
All right. Well, I'm happy to meet him. I'm happy to give some autographs out. No problem. We'll take care of all that stuff.
Yeah, David's sister went to Germany with him. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, I think there's now about 40 odd European men that are stalking his sister on Facebook. I do distinctly remember that particular.
I'll be honest with you, that is very true. She was getting friend requests all over the world. Far more than me.
That is a fact, John. Dave's sister came over to Arm Wars. I think it was, where was it? It was Germany, wasn't it? It was Cologne. And he came over there with us. And every 5 minutes of every day had some guy coming up going,
Who's that girl? Is she an arm wrestler?
I'm like, oh mate. I said, that's Dave's sister. She's not arm wrestling. And he's just going, is she with anyone? And I'm like, listen, I'm just running the show. Go and speak to them.
They're actually very forward, the Eastern Europeans. They just go straight for it,
They're not mucking about, are they?
Very direct.
So yeah, that's how we roll. We can up your family's social media presence. You want to come to Arm Wars? If you've got a sister who's a fine-looking woman, John, bring her over. So,
I got two sisters. One just celebrated a 10-year anniversary. The other one just got married last weekend. I couldn't
that at all.
I couldn't go.
Yeah, I don't want
Another
to
challenge.
have any
Another
argument.
challenge.
But joking aside, guys, it's quite interesting this because you guys have got quite a lot of similarities. Both of you pull both arms, but are, I would say, favour your left.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely, John. That's bit, you know, if you were to sort of pin you down, as you've said many times on your own show, and if you're not subscribed, guys, get over to Uncle John's channel. You know where to look. Uncle John's Arm Wrestling Show. It's got an amazing logo, really eye-catching. Just fire it into YouTube, subscribe. There he is, right there. Tash has changed a bit, and he's lost about 207 pounds, but not.
I was going to say, he needs to change that logo.
He needs to slim that puppy dog down, doesn't he?
He doesn't look like John anymore.
He's slimmed down so much on there. He's beefy, isn't he? But
he's half the man he used to be.
I'm going to see Mazel Jador straight after the show and be like, "Can you make me thin?"
He can. He can.
9 months' time, I'll come on here looking like, you know, I won't need to open doors. I'll be able to go under the fuckers. Anyway, let's get back onto it. So, yeah, you're a left-hand specialist.
Yeah. So
what kind of ratio we're looking at here, mate? If you're saying your left's a 10, where's your right?
You know, it's hard. The way I describe it is if I tell my left hand to go and kill, this left hand just does what it's told. It's not the night after the match. It's not like, oh, I'm so worried about, oh, I just killed this guy. It doesn't care. It's just a robot. It does what I tell it to do. My right hand is like, oh, but I'm worried about this guy's feelings. I don't know. I might get hurt. And then we got to go to therapy with my right hand for weeks afterwards. So it's just like, you know, it's just problems.
John, are you left-handed, John?
I'm right-handed.
Yeah, so that's the same as me. I'm right-handed and my left. I think it's because you're slightly removed from the left hand's feelings. I think you're a little bit it sort of goes into autopilot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, mine's too. I think that's a big part of it. I smashed my hand in football and I can't close my fingers. That's as far as they close. So it doesn't affect me when I'm pulling, but it affects every lift I've ever done in my life. So it's just weird. It's different. It's getting better. It's not horrible, but you know, it's really just the fun hand.
Is there a big disparity in your strength, mate, left and right arm when you're training with weights in the gym? Do you notice that you're throwing the weight up one side and the other struggling, or
probably 10 or 15%?
That much? That's quite a lot, actually.
It is significant. The right is also prone to more injuries for whatever reason. I have a lot of shoulder issues that I kind of am dealing with, but you know, they come, they go. When I get to the table, you know, you can train your brain to kind of shut all that crap down and just, you know, pull hard. And that's the process with the right. The left is very computer-like. We know what we got to do. We know where we have to go. We know the exact angle, and it's just never been a problem. It just does what it does, and that's nice. I just wish that the hand that people care about did the same thing.
What is interesting in the chat now, guys, okay, we got a few. This is like a polarizing match, this. You guys you've got your believers, you've got your hardcore. And in the chat right now, we got Dean Bolt, right? Are you familiar with Dean Bolt?
The Welsh Wolverine, right?
Welsh Wolverine.
That's the one.
He's in the chat right now. Big lad. Definitely wouldn't want him to, you know, you won't want to get locked up with him.
No.
Dean's on there, and he's just basically put a basic, simple comment in there telling people that you're going to get leathered, right? Then you roll down a little bit through the comments, and Carolyn Loomis is on there, and she's just put, Bradford's got no chance. That mindset. So it's fair to say the hardcore are in the chat for both men, and I really like that because
Absolutely.
This is a solid matchup. David, let's talk about your left hand. It's always been the one for you, hasn't it? Really, that's delivered.
It has, yeah, and sort of out of nowhere as well. Like you said, I'm right-handed, so whenever I started arm wrestling in the pub or at a very low level before I even started training for arm wrestling, my right arm was the arm I arm wrestled. But yeah, it turned out that my left arm was sort of far better than my right. Technically better as well, which is strange. But yeah, I've always enjoyed pulling left, but I've had a fair bit of success on the right as well. I'm still British champion on the right arm currently at 90 kilo. I've beaten a few guys that are serious wrestlers on the right arm, but left arm has always come more naturally, I'd say.
Now, I love that the comments just come in from Maximus here onto the private line, and it's just he's put, everybody knows David is from, I love this, everybody knows David is from Wales, and the reason that his left arm is inexplicably stronger than his right arm is that's the way that the hill that the sheep was standing on sloped.
I knew there was going to be sheep involved, but that is a good angle.
It's a Welsh legend. Yeah, Wales, where men are men and sheep are
It is exactly right. I know. And they're not quite as pretty up here in Scotland, I'll be honest. But...
Mate, that's it. You've moved, haven't you, in Edinburgh now?
Yeah, so I'm living full time in Edinburgh at the moment. Yeah.
Do they have sheep up there? Because obviously
they do. They're not as good looking.
No, but it's easier access, isn't it?
Quicker.
You've got the skirt. It's quick release, isn't it?
Got to get the Velcro gloves on. They can't escape.
Yes, you see, these are all the tips that get Bob Brown on here, and Gary Roberts will ban them. There you go.
Absolutely.
Now, guys, I want to talk about technique a little bit. Because in Arm Wars, we always try to put together battles. We always put the worst possible obstacle in your way. And a lot of people were saying, oh, technically, you know, these guys won't have a good match because they're both top rollers. They're both purist top rollers. And I wanted to understand what your feelings were around that, whether you believe that this is going to be a 6 one way, 6 the other way, straight sweep, and it's going to be sort of first man to land gets the knockout punch. Or do you feel like you've got more to your game that you haven't shown yet, guys? Are you pure top rollers, or have you got a lot more about you?
I'll go first. So I would say it's fair. If anybody calls me a pure top roller, that's fair to say. But over the last couple of years, having dedicated myself to being more than that, there are other things that exist for me. You know, I can hook a bit. I can press a little bit less than I can hook. But realistically, when I approach arm wrestling as a game of punishment. And a lot of this comes from, I've always been a big fan of Cobra Rhodes. Of course, Cobra and I have become very good friends over the last several months. So I've been listening to a lot of his, you know, not necessarily the specific training techniques, but his philosophies, right? And so my goal in arm wrestling is to take as much as possible from my opponent, to make my opponent do the things they don't want to do and go the places that they don't necessarily want to go. I'm not necessarily a top roller because I'm trying to top roll. I'm a top roller because I invite people to go to the places, and then that's just where we end up, right? I invite you in, you go the wrong way. I invite you in the front door, but I'm already coming in the back door. I'm sure somebody will clip that and make it sound like.
Yeah, I can't believe you said that out loud. When the Rootless show's gone, anything can happen right there.
So it's for me, it really is about a mental game and being prepared to take punishment and deliver punishment. And my goal, in the perfect world, we will have an absolute gutter war, and it will be bloody and it will be bad. And like, it's terribly difficult to dislike David. So I'm really going to have to turn myself on when we get to that table and put myself in that type of mindset, in that type of position.
But that's what you're quite good at, John. I've noticed. I have researched you a little bit online. I can't find a great deal because you put a lot of content on YouTube. So I do struggle to find it. But the stuff I have found, I noticed you it doesn't look like the normal John that you see on your YouTube channel. You've taken it up a level, you take it up a notch. And I quite like that. I'll feed off that because I enjoy that. That's very similar to what I do in a sense. So yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. It's going to be a very exciting match. I can actually see it going straps personally. And I'm sure
David, let me assure you, it's going to straps.
I was just going to say,
going to straps, and then
if you're a betting man, that's a pretty good bet to make right there.
Exactly right. I know. So you're an intelligent arm wrestler, so you're going to know that you'll be training that strap work like there's no tomorrow over the next couple of months. I know.
Yeah. So look, for anybody out there that's wondering about these matches, there are a ton of awesome matches on the card for Arm Wars Reality Check. But I'm telling you this, when I get up there, you are going to see something different, right? This is not just going to be patty cake. I'm coming to win, and I'm just going to, come in there and, oh, hey, hello, David. Good to meet you, sir. It's time to sport on the sport table. This is going to be a very serious, this is it for me. This is the culmination of everything I've ever wanted to do in arm wrestling. Is from the day I started, and I got together with my buddy Josh Handlin, and he showed me some clips from Arm Wars. And this is in like 2010, 2011. And I'm like, I'm going to be on Arm Wars. And he's like, yeah, right. Guess what? I'm on Arm Wars. And it's happening October 1st. And it's going to be good. So if you guys want to watch the best match on that card, you damn well better catch Uncle John versus David Bradford, period.
You guys are both known as... we just had a super chat come through. I'll knock this over, then I don't lose it, and we'll move on from there. But Sean Russell, thanks for your super chat, brother. Quite an unusual question, though. I'm not sure what this one relates to, mate. You might have to give me a bit more on it. He's just put, how do you feel about promoters taking money but not doing tournaments? I don't know who that really is referring to or what it's referring to. Maybe give me a bit more on it, mate. But
I do know Sean Russell. Sean Russell, he operates arm wrestling clothing operation called ReadyGo.ca. He was actually one of my first supporters, my first sponsor.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that you talk about on your show every week. But do you know what he's referring to specifically there, mate?
I don't know specifically. I actually have a meeting scheduled with him this weekend, and he's talking about doing some big things over the summer, hopefully in Canada, traveling around, promoting their brand. I'm not sure exactly what specifically this is referring to, but it's all good. It's cool stuff.
Sean, I'll try and keep my eye on the chat, mate. Ready Go Garb, it is the company, isn't it, buddy? You were saying?
What's that?
Ready Go Garb is his organization?
Yeah, Ready Go Garb, and it's readygo.ca.
And they do, and Ready Go Garb do individual one-of-a-kind attire.
Yeah, they have their own arm wrestling designs. It's all arm wrestling focused. They're out and about. They just like to support arm wrestling, and I think they have some big stuff coming up. So hopefully it's all good, and hopefully we can actually move around Canada enough this summer to make that stuff happen.
Good stuff. So get yourself over to Ready Go Garb, guys. Check it out. ReadyGo.ca. Check them out. Check out what they are offering in the sport, and always good to support people who are arm wrestlers and very much embedded in the sport. And obviously, Sean is exactly that. Sean, I'll keep my eye on the chat as we go through this, mate. If I can get a bit of background on exactly what you're referring to or who you're referring to there, I'll come back to you a little bit, because I don't really know what that's relating to specifically. But I will keep my eye on the chat on it, mate. And thanks for the super chat. So let's continue on the thing we were going down there. Obviously, you're both top rollers. Obviously, you can break down where the advantage is going to happen and where you see yourself winning the match. And I wanted to do that individually. I'm going to start with Dave. From what you've seen of John's arm wrestling, from what he's told you on here and what he's said in prior weeks, I think it's fair to say that he's described himself as a technician, described himself as someone who's going to have to take away your hand and wrist in order to get this thing done. Where do you see your biggest strength in this match, Dave, versus John? If you look at yourself as an athlete versus John, are you the stronger man? Are you the faster man? Are you the more match ready? Just break it down for me a little.
Well, personally, I think experience. I know he's been arm wrestling 10 years. I genuinely believe that I've been in more competitions than John. I could be wrong. I have done a little bit of research for John, but I can't find a great deal of competition time. I honestly believe that it is going to go to the strap, and I feel I have more horsepower than John. He has a big hand, and he looks like he's got a strong wrist. But left-handed, I don't lose my hand on the left hand at all. So yeah, I think it's going to be a power in the straps, and it's all going to come down to horsepower. But saying that, who knows? I mean, John's going to turn up ready. He's wanted this for a long time, so he's not going to be traveling all this way just for just to let me take a 6-0 win. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I mean, I'll be training hard. I don't. It depends. It doesn't matter to me who I'm pulling. I go balls out, and that's what I'll be doing for this match. I'll be training hard for it, and he doesn't need to worry because I'll be doing my homework on him as well. So,
are you going to train specifically for John Dave? Are you going to sort of change up what you do, or are you just continuing down the same?
Possibly, like I said, there will be more strap work. I'm very confident in the strap. Anyway, so potentially there will be a bit more strap work. I'm training with Engin at the moment, obviously over video link, so that's happening every week. So he'll sort of guide me on where I should be working on and what I should be doing. So yeah, like I said, it's not going to be a given that I'm going to turn up and win this match. It's going to be, I'm going to be training hard for it, and I guess train hard, and the win will hopefully come easy. Yeah, let's do it and let's enjoy it, because it's going to be pretty intense. He's an intense sort of guy, and I feel that if he's going to be intense, I'm going to be bringing my intensity up a level as well.
John, same question, mate. Where's the win for you in this match? Where do you see the advantages that you can bring to the table here?
So I think it's really difficult to say much about predicting this match. There's going to be a lot of people who are like, it's 6-0 this way, it's 6-0 that way. The fact of the matter is, in all the research I did, I could only find one connection where it's somebody that David has arm wrestled against somebody that I have arm wrestled. And I think it was 2016 or 17, Tom Holland versus Randy Bayers at WAL. I think it was in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's literally the only connecting point of data that we have. So as far as I'm concerned, the ability to predict this match is almost at zero. Now, what do I know? I can say that it's possible that David is stronger than me. It is possible. Now, I'm not worried about that, because in 90% of the matches I've ever been in, the guy has always been stronger than me, right? So it goes back to what I said before. It's about finding ways around, finding ways through, finding ways to sneak my way to gaining ground. And one of the main ways that I do that is endurance. David, if I hang you up in any way for any amount of time, I will drag you, kicking and screaming into the Arm Wars deep water, and we will drag this thing out. I'm telling you now that first match is going to be about an hour and a half long. Anyway, we will start, we will stop, we will yell, we will scream, we will do the whole 9 yards. So basically, when I train at the table for actual table practice, I just steal a table and I refuse to leave. So we are going straight, now that we're back at practices, I'm going straight from guy to guy to guy. That's that out of context too. And we're going for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I will not get tired. My hand will not gas. My arm will not gas. It is not going to be possible. So that's kind of the angle that I come from, and that I always come from. And Arm Wars gives us a unique situation where really it's at the end of the day going to be the best of 7, right? So if we're going back and forth, my recommendation would be get that arm ready to do a marathon. We're going to be running long distances, buddy, and it's going to be bloody. It's going to be like one of those awful marathons where you got to run up walls and climb in the mud and all that kind of nonsense. It's going to be dark.
So are you training for that specific type of wrestling with you're pulling, so you're not pinning, you're literally just holding your opponents.
Well, I do a lot of pinning too. But I just keep going. There's no resting. There's zero resting. I refuse to do that.
Yeah.
Because I just refuse to get tired at the table. If I lose a match, it will not be because I got gassed out. It will be, that will remain the bedrock. And so that allows me to really focus on, instead of having to make sure, got to make sure my cardio is okay, got to make sure my endurance is up there. I don't have to worry about that because it's just naturally there all the time. I can now, for the next 3 months, specifically focus on, this is where I need more power. This is where I need more rotation. This is where I need more speed. And then that's what I will do is look at, specifically the matches you have lost, which admittedly are not a ton, but I will be looking at those as kind of, maybe blueprints to see what has worked against you in the past and how to exploit some of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What about speed, guys? When you were watching each other arm wrestle, who do you think's the faster guy? Who's got that? Because if this is about getting to your spot quickly, there's 2 ways you can do that. You lay traps or you're first in. When you look at the other man arm wrestle, we'll go back to, we'll start with John this time. Do you think you're going to have the opportunity to initiate, particularly if you agree that Dave may be the more powerful puller? Do you think you'll have the opportunity to initiate, or are you going to be on the back foot?
Well, it's an interesting question because I haven't had a lot of competition starts at 200 pounds. Like now, I'm like this much closer to the table now.
You could be like
I feel like the Flash in my everyday life, right? I feel like I'm really, really fast right now. But historically, I'm a trap layer, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it has always been for me. I contain, I trap, I punish. That is the 3-pronged.
So there's not going to be a quick start here because I'm very similar as well. I'm not a flash pinning type of arm wrestler. I want to feel how strong you are.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that side of things. And certainly the first ready go will be me gauging what you're about and you doing exactly the same for me. So yeah.
So you being the Flash is in that first initiation. Have you? I mean, you say that it's happened in every element of your life or in other elements of your life. Have you really noticed that in any specific areas? Is it when you run upstairs or things like that? And you're just like, oh god damn, I've got it. I'm much quicker. Is it a wind sprint thing like Lachlan Adair? Sub 8 egg and spoon.
You can barely see me. I'm just like take it, just leaps and bounds, man. Like in all seriousness, I can't really explain enough about how different my life is now. The fact that this match is such a wild card because realistically, since I've only arm wrestled 2 times in competition since last November when I was 255, 260 pounds, right? I did that. I had a right-handed tournament in November, and then I had a super match in March at like 210 pounds. That's it. So I am going to have a couple events between now and Arm Wars Reality Check, but it's going to be a learning process for me to figure out what I can do better now that I necessarily just couldn't do because I was just not in good enough shape, or I was just too goddamn fat and I'm trying to arm wrestle, 3 feet away from the table. It's a different game altogether now. And I'm starting to really see that come out on the table in the practices. My abilities are just the things that were weaknesses are not weaknesses anymore, just due to the fact that I can mobilize my body so much better now.
It's interesting, John, because obviously now this new slimline look, as a fat guy myself, I struggle to identify with you sometimes now. Whereas before, I got it. I can empathize. But I haven't been able to do that for a while until tonight. And then you come on this show and you're like, you know what? In some areas of my life, I feel like the Flash.
Yeah.
That's funny because I don't consider myself that fast most of the time. But I kid you not, John. in some areas of my life, you'd be amazed. Last night, my wife, we were upstairs and she's like,
God damn, that was fast.
And you were like, thank you very much.
I was already halfway through my cigarette, but I'm back on you. See you, mate. Cooper Maxwell's coming with us. Super chat, maximum effort. Obviously a fan of yours there, mate.
Very good, very good.
Oh, lovely darts. Cooper, hope you're well, brother. You can put in the chat who've you got. And I also noticed that Sean Russell had come back. So let me just...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Sean has put, it was more of all your experience with promoters that take money but never deliver. We have sponsored a lot of things and have been burned by a lot. The only person we trusted and seen a return from is Uncle John. Good endorsement of a good man. Uncle John, obviously, stand-up individual, ladies and gents, and proof of it there from Sean Russell. To be honest, mate, I have experienced the ups and the downs with various people I've worked with. Often, I am the promoter. You know, I have been in situations where I've been over and worked with people and it hasn't worked out. I've been in situations where I've worked with people and it has. And I've got a very long-standing relationship with a lot of the people that I work with, both as a promoter. We haven't changed our sort of involvement and sponsors for a long period of time. The most recent one is Western Survivor and Adam Vandal, and you'd have to ask Adam Vandal about that. But what I can tell you is that Western Survivor is without question the greatest beef jerky of all time. www.westernsurvivor.ca. Get it, guys. John is going to be fueled on that when he comes over to try and crack the dragon. Them arms are intimidated there, Dave. Look at that. Did you see slow motion them up there for you?
Well, come on, deal with David putting these half-nude lake shots on Facebook, and he's just like...
It's all part of the game, John. It's all part of the game.
You got a lot of confidence, haven't you, when you take your missus to a Scottish loch and you go in there. You make sure that when you take those photographs, son, and you're stood in that water, your waist is covered, because that's
exactly right.
Right, tell you.
Well, you got a spare stock.
Yeah, bloody right. Get something to shove in that. You get out of that, mate, you'll spend the next hour and a half as a woman. That's how cold that loch is.
There's no Loch Ness monster, for sure.
Absolutely, son. Now then, let's get back on track. Here we go. So, the straps. A lot of talking arm wrestling about the straps at the moment, particularly from Gary Roberts, Esquire, who wants the strap outlawed.
Yeah.
But it's fair to say, for the people that don't believe in the potential for battles from a top roller, that the strap can be your friend. Because if you find that connection point in the strap, it means that you can engage the back pressure for longer in the match. And I wanted to, knowing that this match is going to go to straps, because it's pretty certain that it is, who feels the most confident in straps here? Do you have a lot of inner belief in yourself in the strap, John? Anchored to a man who's potentially stronger, does that concern you? Does it worry you? Or do you think by that point you'll have so much hand control that it won't matter?
Well, so my perspective on the strap is, kind of coming of age in arm wrestling in North America over the last 10 years. That's like, I have just followed the strap obsession as it has grown, right? Because I really feel like there wasn't as much strap stuff going on per say 10 years ago as there is now. Mm-hmm. So when it started going that way, I saw it and I'm like, oh my God, like I was getting my ass kicked in the strap all the time. And so I kind of dedicated the last, 5 years. I'm just like, this is the way it is, because I'm of the belief that if you're at a certain level, it doesn't matter. The person who wants to go to the strap, if they're at a certain level, they will just get it. It's not hard to slip professionally, get yourself to the strap, right? We can both do that at will when we want to. So it was absolutely critical for me to learn how to pull in the strap. And once I did it for about a year, I figured out a couple things that my hand and wrist setup can do that not a lot of other people can do. And it made me extremely comfortable in the straps. And I would say 95% of my matches go to straps because I tell them to, right? I'm the one that's initiating. I'm the one that dictates when we go, where we go. If we don't want to go, then, you know, that's a different story altogether. But I think, I honestly, I think David and I are both going to be happy to go to the straps. I think, you know, we'll have a go outside. We'll see what happens. But I think that's where the real test will be, is once we're strapped up, because we're both going away. We're both going away to some certain extent. And I think when we're strapped together, we'll really be able to see, you know, what the situation is. That's what I want more than anything. I want us to go hand to hand, wrist to wrist, absolute metal grinding death strap, and see who's going to break down first. That's my dream. Right. That's what I want to give to the people. That's what I want to show them. I want them to be able to see that absolute thing. Because look at like Hutchings versus Zoloev. What did we want to see? We wanted to see a hook war. We didn't see it. Guess what? You guys want to see a strap top roll death match, and you're going to get it. Even if David doesn't want to do it, I'm going to make it happen.
David.
Yes.
Who's the most well-rounded arm wrestler in this match, mate? Have you got a plan B? Let's say that everything that John says comes to fruition there. He travels across the world, he smacks your wrist and hand. If that happens in the first round, yeah, you've got a second shot at it, and you think to yourself, oh, okay, we got a number of rounds here, I can rectify the situation. If it happens in the second round, you got to start making moves.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan B?
I mean, like I said, I've been arm wrestling 7 years, so I have got tools to use if I think it's necessary. I feel I've got technically I'm pretty good. Left arm is very good, I'd say. Just going back to the strap, I'll never forget. I was pulling Craig Saunders in Farm Wars, and it was back in, I think it was maybe 2017. Craig Saunders was left arm. Craig Saunders is obviously a very good right arm puller, very good, world class, but left arm. So I thought, yes, great. Got into the straps, and the guy was doing things in the straps that I couldn't work out. And the referee was going, "No, you can't do that." And I'm thinking, what is he doing? And sort of ever since then, the strap has always become sort of something I needed to master. And I feel I'm really confident now. Me and Gary Ricketts, about 6 weeks ago, he slipped, which I think was probably intentional. I was beating him. I was cranking his wrist. He was getting beaten, and he slipped to get us into the straps. And I thought, could be in trouble here. Gary's a bit of a powerhouse. I felt so comfortable in the straps, even against someone like Gary, who's done it all, you know, multiple British champion at heavyweight. You and him have had some wars in the past, you know. It just feels so connected. And my left arm, as soon as the strap goes on, it's showtime, you know. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I just hope he turns up ready and fired up like I've seen him in the past, because it's going to be an enjoyable match.
Do you think the fact that you've been in arm wars before is a big advantage for you, David?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and I do. I think it's, and especially, I'm not going to get the traveling like he's traveling a long way to come. He's going to be on a high, but he's going to be on a high for a couple of days, and that takes it out of you. Cool, calm, and collected, roll in and roll out. That's my plan. Just get another, just another notch, eh?
Well, that's a really good point, actually, David. I'll cede that point to you, because not only am I traveling, but as Uncle John, the key of this whole thing is going to be get content, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not like I'm going to slide into Birmingham and just kick back and hang out, right? We're going to be hanging out with all these other knuckleheads that are pulling on the card. We're going to be doing a lot of filming. I'm sure you and I will be hanging out. We'll do some content. It sounds like Cobra Rhodes is going to be there. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen if Cobra So, there is likely going to be some shenanigans. But it is something that I'm aware of, and it's something that I'm mentally preparing myself for quite a bit. It's to do the job that I need to do as Uncle John, but also, you know, I am there to put on a spectacular show, a spectacular performance. And the thing that I refuse to do is do you and Neil and the name of Arm Wars the disservice of not coming as prepared as one should be for Arm Wars, which I
mean, exactly. If you turn up and you're doing your YouTube stuff, which you have to do, that is the most important. One of the most important things. For the first most important thing for you is to turn up and win that match, John.
Right.
So for you to turn up, you're going to be working. It's going to be hard. I feel I have got a massive advantage in that respect, as you probably worked out yourself. First and foremost, you need to win that match for you and your followers and your content and all your supporters. Pressure's on. But
well, as soon as I get there, David, I'm going to come to you and just say, David, just hold this camera. Hold my camera.
Put me to work.
Follow me around a little while.
Jeremiah HCH just came into the chat there, and he's a big John fan. Uncle John is going to smash this guy.
Oh boy,
was the comment. So yeah, you're not without your followers.
Well, it'll be really interesting, you know, to see how it goes, because I just want to be very clear that I am very aware of how social media works and how social media affects the perception of matches, right? At the end of the day, I started this channel, and literally within 4 months of starting the channel, I no longer had the ability to arm wrestle because of COVID, right? So nobody really knows me because of my accomplishments on the table. I do have, like, I'm a Canadian national champion. I've finished as high as 5th at the Arnold Classic before, right-handed of all things. I've had a lot of success, but it's in the past, right? It's in the past. We're moving forward now. And this is obviously Uncle John 2.0 at this point. So for me, on top of everything else, this is a rebirth and reemergence in like the most grand way I could possibly ever imagine doing it, right? You create yourself a new body to bring to the table, and then you debut it on, in my opinion, what is the grandest stage of all in arm wrestling.
So interesting, we got a super chat through from one of your big fans in the chat, mate. Carolyn Loomis has come in and just said, Neil, when can we stake on John? Hashtag stamina, hashtag mindset. Where's Gary Roberts?
I think he needs to keep his money in his pocket.
Now, interesting. You are going to be able to stake on this match.
Yeah.
That will be coming. What we're looking to do is make official announcements probably after the UK government talk to the nation about what the score is with big shows opening, arena shows opening, and so on, which, as I understand it, is scheduled for the 19th or the 20th of July. And that's been the only holdback for this point. So everything, as far as we're aware, is on track. No reason that should not happen, but we don't want to be disappointing people too much. And therefore, everybody's waiting for that critical day. Hope that answers your question, Carolyn. You will be able to stake on it. But it leads us into a pretty interesting point here, because, as I said earlier, polarizing matchup. Uncle John, who's the favorite in this match?
Well, I think, you know, due to what we were just talking about with social media, is that I will likely, on the whole, be viewed as the favorite. Now, but like I said before, it is incredibly difficult to really have any type of data-driven opinion about this match. One, because there is no data, and two, we're just so far apart. There's not a lot of inferences that we can. All we can do is look at, okay, David's had a lot of great matches left-handed. I've had a lot of great matches left-handed, but I also have a lot of wild card factors as well, with the weight loss and all these, you know, unknowns. Yep. So I think that it is a great opportunity for David and I to push ourselves and show ourselves and tell the people exactly why we're going to win, how we're going to win, when we're going to win, and get them pumped up. I'm kind of worried that I'm going to have to vote for David for a little while, because my stakes are going to sell out, and then we're going to have to get David to catch up. So maybe I'll do one promoting my staking, and then I'll do another one promoting David's staking as well. We gotta get those blocks rolling, right?
Really do. Now, David, a few years back, boxing fans might remember there was a guy called Joe Calzaghe. And at that time, all the boxers in the world didn't really rate, there's a lot of really famous boxers around at that time. The middleweight division was stacked and he wasn't getting the notoriety he perhaps deserved. And people said, this guy ain't that good. Never fought anybody. He's not as good as this guy, not as good as this guy, not as good as this guy. Anyway, the years rolled by. And over time, Joe Calzaghe got to fight these guys. And he leathered every single one of them.
Absolutely. Undefeated.
And then
there's word on the street he's coming back at 50.
Now, people at that time are saying, after the fact, they're saying, well, he was always the guy. The reason why he wasn't getting any matches, the reason why nobody was fighting that guy is because they knew that he'd kick their ass and they didn't want anything to do with him. Do you feel like John Thompson is walking into something he doesn't appreciate? Do you feel like he's coming over and he's going to face a guy that might not have the recognition, might not have the name, but is a really, really serious threat? And a banana.
I think so. I mean, on the UK scene, I feel like I am known as a good arm wrestler, as probably up there with one of the best, left-handed. Whether that means anything in Canada, probably not. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the nature of the beast is that I've not gone abroad and I've not done Zloty and things like that. I've not gone to the Worlds. But I don't shy away from matches. I'm happy to poll whoever. If Tom Holland wanted to poll me next week, I'd get on. Like I said, Gary Ricketts, all of these people, I've never turned down a match. So, and I've always been the underdog, and the underdog sort of suits me. Being a Welshman as well, I think it suits me because we're always underdogs in every sport. So the fact of the matter is that John thinks that he is probably favourite in this is great. Is great. It works totally in my favour. For my confidence, he feels he's got more to lose than me. And from a mental aspect, I think that's massive, personally.
John, a few weeks ago, Gary Roberts was talking on his show with you, and a bit of a wind-up, and he was saying, I think Neil wants you to get beat, wants you to come over and get your ass handed to you. Mm-hmm. Now, we've spoken about that since. And do you have any feeling inside yourself that you are being teed up? Do you have any feeling that you're out of your depth here, that it's going to be you in the deep water? Do you think that you're going to get over here and drown?
So it's an interesting question. One, and there's multiple answers to this. One, on one side, no. I have supreme confidence in you, Neil, as a promoter, and I have supreme confidence in the essence of what Arm Wars is, right? Arm Wars is not a place where you come to just have an easy match, right? That's not the essence of Arm Wars. Arm Wars is for serious arm wrestlers who are very close or are very interesting, and we want to see them at the limits. We don't want to just see what we see in everyday or tournament pulling or a regular super match. We want to see that elite level type of pulling. We want to see what happens when people are at their end, when there are no choices. David and I clash in the middle of the table. We both commit to our moves and we're still in the middle of the table. What the hell happens then? That's what we want to see. Now, I think that for me personally, it is a bit of a psychological game. And I have to be very careful because having the Uncle John moniker and kind of having this character that's out in the internet ether, there are people that just blindly kind of will support, and I appreciate them 100%. But the key is to not allow that to dictate what reality is to me, right? I'm very much a realist. There's some arm wrestlers out there who always say, I'm only going to win. This is what's going to happen. I will not be on the losing side of the table. that's not what I do. I'm very eclectic in my approach. I plan for all scenarios. I plan for a loss. What am I going to do after one loss? How am I going to proceed? What am I going to do if my hand does get taken in that first match? Plan B for that. There's all sorts of plans, right? Plan A is a hell of a good plan, but I want to be prepared for every single situation. And so honestly, at the end of the day, if let's say worst case scenario, I'm completely wrong and Neil is winding me up and Neil and David Bradford are twisting their mustaches in evil doer, shenanigans. It's just an opportunity for me to show that doesn't matter, right? And that even when you are up against someone who maybe is stronger than you, maybe is bigger than you, maybe has more, competition know-how, whatever the situation is, go. And as Cobra always says, when the man says go, you try real hard. And I will be trying the hardest of the hard. There is no doubt about that. I'm a big supporter and fan of the idea of going out on your shield, about giving every single thing. And that's what you get. Whether that takes 4 matches, 5, 6, 7 matches, you will get that from me every single time. So at the end of the day, whether it's a setup or not, it doesn't matter to me.
I think from a mental aspect as well, I think Neil has sort of put this match up because of that reason, because he knows me well. He knows that I put everything on the line. He knows that if I'm facing a 20-time British champion, I still want to win that match. It's not that I'm there to just get beat. It's I want to win the match. I want to make a name for myself. I want to be 20-time British champion. I'm exactly the same. It's that mindset is so important. The amount of people I find that I watch that are going against someone that they on paper far better on the arm wrestling table, that they already look beat as they're walking up to the table, just frustrates me. It really does. And you're not that guy, and I'm certainly not that guy. So.
And that's one of the things that I definitely noticed about you too. No, I don't want to blow you too hard, David, but it's the key of fearlessness, right? And approaching the situation with no, like, this is a big stage, right? You lose at Arm Wars. It's a hard pill to swallow.
I'm just letting you know I've got 100% winning streak on Arm Wars at the moment.
1-1.
I don't want to give that up, Neil.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. I look forward to having the same record when I leave.
Absolutely.
Now, David.
Yes.
Who's got most to gain from this matchup, mate?
Oh, absolutely. John has got far more to gain. I personally think he says that I'm the underdog in this, but personally, I think from him as an arm wrestler, on this stage, as a YouTuber, possibly maybe a YouTuber slightly more than he is an arm wrestler, I feel that he's got far more to gain than me. Personally.
There's sort of different looks on it, isn't there? Because when I noticed the other day, there was a couple of posts on the UK chat forums and stuff, and they're saying, "Oh, who is this guy? He's just a YouTuber. He's not a good arm wrestler. He's good in front of a camera. He's good in front of a microphone, but not on an arm wrestling table. Has he even beat anybody? How long's he been arm wrestling? Does he even arm wrestle? I don't know anything about this.
John could have said exactly the same about me at home that night. Who's David Bradford? Who is he? He can't find anything.
This is the thing, isn't it? Because I think this match encapsulates that scenario beautifully. I think you've got a situation where on one side of the Atlantic, people are unaware of who the hell you are, David.
Absolutely.
And on the other side of the Atlantic, they know John as a effectively an arm wrestling personality, but not necessarily with his elbow on the table.
Correct.
So when you come into this, you have the opportunity to sort of up your notoriety because you beat that guy that everybody knows is.
That's quite an actual. That's quite a good angle, really. Yeah, I suppose when you say it like that, then potentially will I win fans through beating John? But I think that John's fans are John's fans. I don't think he'll lose fans, but it might not propel John if he lost in the way that obviously if he won, traveling all this way, going to the UK, Arm War stage. I mean, it speaks for itself. But yeah, I suppose the angle of potentially propelling me to a bit of notoriety Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Apologies, that's my battery. Yeah, there's potential that my name might be a bit more well known after this, and it probably will. Me and John will be going. We'll be talking on Uncle John's YouTube channel. So yeah, it's gonna benefit both of us. But I think potentially John's got more to lose and possibly more to gain, depending on the result.
John, from your perspective, mate, obviously you can look at this two ways. Obviously, coming over here, if you come over and crack David, then there is absolutely no question that in the UK, Ireland, Scotland, England, everybody's going to be like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
We're suddenly Uncle John fans. And we're suddenly going to, I mean, you spoke about the fact that you're going to come over here and you're going to be the heel. And everybody's going to think, that you're going to take a lot of abuse and everybody's going to think that David's going to crack you and they're going to jump on the bandwagon and beat that drum till it can't be beaten anymore. But if you crack this dude, if you come over and you leather him, then all of a sudden you've converted 3 nations straight off the bat. Probably 4. They'll probably hate you anyway.
He's gonna get a pile of subscribers. I think he's gonna get the subscribers anyway.
The respect level's definitely going to go up,
Reasons.
But if you look at that from a Canadian perspective, North American generally perspective, United States, possibly Eastern Europe, is Dave a big enough name? Is Dave the guy that you want? Do you see this as a stepping stone, or do you see it as a destination in that respect?
Well, put it this way. Like I said before, everything I have is going into this match. Absolutely 100%. I definitely don't see David as just a stepping stone to just step on and catapult myself. I think the match itself is what's important. And I think that, my goal as a content creator is, obviously, I'm always trying to get my name out there more too. But the more I can get David's name out there and the more recognition I can get from David in the next 3 months, the better it will look if I do end up beating David, right? So, and I think there's a symbiotic relationship here too, where we can both, gain, win, lose, whatever, that we can both come out benefiting from this situation. But I am excited to show that part of the world, what I can do, and really the whole world, because like I said, again, I am very aware of how people view content creators, right? I didn't start my channel with the idea of, how can I fool people into thinking that I'm a good arm wrestler, right? Like, that's not how it starts. And then it just so happened that COVID created a situation where I had to do things without actually arm wrestling. So then it does appear that, does this guy actually arm wrestle? I do, but just not a lot recently. So I think it's...
So certainly you'd say you're first and foremost an arm wrestler over a YouTuber. First and foremost?
In my mind, certainly.
Yeah.
I spend so much time thinking about the game, how to get better at the game, approach it differently, what I can do to set myself apart from the status quo. Whatever the meta is in this area or that area, I'm going the other direction. I'm looking at what everybody else is doing and trying to go the other way to set myself apart and to fool people and to make that happen. It's just that there's been no opportunity to do that. And for me, so it's completely clear, I am excited about the entirety of this lead up, about all the content that David and I can come up with. I honestly hope that we have a death war, and no matter what happens at the end, I hope we're ready to have another one 6 months down the road, regardless of the result, right? That's my goal, is to put on an amazing show and then just have that set up for more battles in the future. If we're 20 years down the road and me and you are still trading death beatings back and forth, I will be just as happy as possible.
Interesting. Now, one pretty solid angle on this is that both you guys are friends with and getting some tips from two guys who are not only massively recognized legendary arm wrestlers, but also who have a little bit of needle in that sort of recognition list. And I'm talking about the fact that Uncle John is mentored by Andrew Cobra Rhodes, one of the best lightweights of all time, one of the originals, if not the original global superstar of arm wrestling in terms of notoriety, literally worldwide, because of his prominence in the WAF, pre-internet, and so on. On the opposite side of the pond, we got David Bradford, and he is now mentored by the Angry Turk, the Enigma of Rage, Engin Terzi, right hand, left hand. He's done it all. Multiple Turkish, European, and world champion. Absolute killer. Do you guys feel any additional pride, pressure, honor?
Well, I didn't until now.
Particularly you, David, because if you lose with that guy's name on your sleeve,
exactly,
full on kick your head.
I think you'll obviously disown me. That'll be the first thing. I'll be totally disowned. Delete me off every social media and delete my number. That's it. No, I think that there will be an aspect of that. Absolutely. I mean, the guys, what they've done is speak for themselves. But yeah, it's gonna bring a note of a rivalry from that sense. I'd imagine.
Well, I agree. I think that, you know, Cobra and Engin, they definitely had their battles, you know, back in the day. So that it definitely creates another level of interest to the match. And, you know, for me, Cobra was my favorite arm wrestler long before I met Cobra, right? I have been trying to mimic the things he does for a very, very long time. And now to kind of have a closer, more inside look at what he was doing, what his mindset is. And the idea of having him in my corner is, again, it's like I'm a kid in a candy store. It's just like, is this even my life right now? Like, I'm at Arm Wars and Cobra Rhodes is going to be there in my what? Like,
he's not a bad guy to have in your corner.
Yeah, and he will be there at the match. That's
exactly.
You won't have Engin there unless, you know, Engin decides to jump on a plane. But outside of that, Cobra Rhodes will actually be in John's corner on the day for that little bit of extra.
Look, when Cobra looks you in the eyes and he tells you what you got to do, that gives you extra 20%.
Absolutely.
Right there, right?
Yeah.
It's serious. The way that kind of psychological thing happens, it's real. And I will plan to use it to full effect.
Now, a couple of days of competition. When we're over there, you guys are traveling a long way, John.
Yeah.
We are looking to try and facilitate it so you guys pull on the last day of competition on the Saturday to give you that extra time to get content and so on and so on. Because obviously, this is an opportunity for you to develop your channel and you want to round that content out as well as you can and earn as much as you can from that. Let's talk about a couple of things there. Obviously, will you be putting together sort of a schedule of when you will be going out live and when you will be doing things in that respect, mate, prior to the event itself?
Can you say that one more time? I missed the first
part.
Yeah,
are you going to be scheduling things specifically of when you will go out live and what you will be able to give back to your followers and so on?
Yeah. So for anybody who's following the channel, plan on live streams, plan on exclusive content that is going to start the minute that I leave to go to the airport and will carry through the entire thing. I know that my wife and I actually, my wife and I are going to come together. She's going to go and hang out with friends that she has actually in Edinburgh and a few other places. And then she's going to leave me alone to do my arm wrestling stuff. And then we're going to stick around after as well. So there will be the full gamut of my UK experience will be there. But I plan to do, we'll do live stuff with David. We'll do live stuff with you. Obviously, there's going to be a huge number of very notable arm wrestlers that we'll be hanging out with. So I'm going to try to get as much of that content in as possible for everybody, including stuff right there live from the Arnold Classic.
Well, if I can give you a top tip that you can probably facilitate and pay for it with your content, if your followers are able to give you a bump with that. And I know that Sean Russell put in there that there's another $200 in this for the winner on his back as well. Thanks for that, mate. I'm sure the lads will appreciate it. We're also, just before I forget, we're going to do a shirt, which may arrive any time.
Yeah.
Up there with Uncle John. We're looking at the prototype shirt now. That will be similar to this, the Arm Wars Reality Check, but it will be an Uncle John specific shirt.
Yeah.
It will be raising money for Uncle John. So any sales that are made on that shirt will go to Uncle John to help him pay for his trip and everything else, and just earn the guy some money, as well as the staking and other things. But going back to what I was saying, if I could give you a tip, John, John Misses is going up to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Which is incidentally where Mr. Bradford is based.
Maybe the wives can get together.
I'll tell you what, mate, after the show, genuinely, I would extend your trip by a couple of days and go up there, because that is a beautiful city. I am talking amazing. That is a great place. Like, wow.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Really, the extent of my knowledge of the UK is basically Neil Pickup's Floppy Dog, Mr. Bean, Iron Maiden, and Judas Priest.
First one and third one are good things.
No, you'll be very welcome, John. You should come up. Yeah, absolutely. The wives can get together, or absolutely, and that can be done. No problem at all.
Yeah,
sounds like an opportunity, guys. Just to let people know in the chat, we got about 5 or 10 minutes more, and we will be letting these guys get on with their day. So if you've got any questions, fire them over. But as I say, the shirt is coming. That will be imminent, and once that's up there, we will get promoting it. I'll put it out on things. John will be pushing that like mad, and you can buy it. It's in a breathable fabric. We'll have varieties, long sleeve and short sleeve, other stuff. So yeah, anything you buy on those guys all goes to the mighty Uncle John.
Thank you very much.
Now, I wanted to finish on a point here, a little bit of a point around the whole 6-round experience. Okay, 6 rounds can be a bit of a mental hammering for you, because training endurance is one thing, but if you get into a screamer, as you plan to do in that opening round, in that second round, in that third round, when you're at the point where you cannot tie your shoelaces, are you guys doing anything to try to facilitate that mentally and physically? Because this could be a real problem for you mentally. If you're in there and you feel like, have you ever been in a match, you guys, where you feel like you literally cannot close your hand? You've nothing left.
Probably. Yeah, in early career, absolutely. Later on, not so much, but you tend to get used to those pains. Even like, I hate to revert back to the strap, but I used to hate the strap, and having the strap applied and feeling that you couldn't even shut your hands. Well, I can almost spend an hour with the strap on now, and fighting and training with boys, and it's absolutely fine. So I think it's something you just get used to eventually, you know. Comes with experience.
What about yourself, John?
I wish it was best of 100.
So you really did, you feel like endurance is a calling card for you?
Yeah, the longer this goes, the better, the more confident I will feel. It just, it's the number one thing that I worked on for the last couple of years. It's just getting to a point where it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter, right? Like, I will get match 1 is like, you're here. Match 2, we're higher. We're more power. I don't know where it will stop. I don't know. I might be the strongest on the planet. I just need to have 20 matches. It's very possible. We'll see. So I hope it goes long. I really do. I hope we battle, and I hope we have absolute grinders. And that's what I welcome. I welcome it.
Mizel Jador's just come in with a super chat. Thanks, brother. He's just put, David, have you any matches coming up beforehand?
So I was asked to a super match in August. I think I might be moving. I've got to move. I'm actually moving house, so I think it's going to actually fall on that weekend. Unfortunately, if it doesn't, then certainly then I will be having matches, super matches. I'll be traveling down to Manchester at some point, and I've got a couple of guys, quite strong guys from Glasgow, who I'm sure would like to get some super matches underway. So I'm like Kieran Morrison, Sean, Ryan Francis. I mean, the more matches I get between now and then, the better. So I'll be searching it out, certainly.
What about yourself, John? You've got like quite a schedule lined up, haven't you, mate? I think you were trying to get to the States, weren't you? Is that even possible now?
Right now, it still isn't. I'm hopeful for August. Maybe we'll get something together. I did just figure out I'm going to go to Newfoundland to Mizel's place. He's got a bunch of guys coming up, and I have got a right-handed super match with a guy named Nathan Guittard, who I pulled and beat pretty quickly last November, but that was at 255, and he's been getting a little better, so he wants to test himself out. So I said I would do that one. And then left-handed, we're doing a basically first one to pin Uncle John gets, $50 or $100. So we're going to go through, we're going to have multiple, I don't know how many guys are going to be there, probably at least 25. We'll line them up and we'll see how many guys I can actually get through in order to do that. And I'm hoping to maybe go and pull Artem Taranenko down in Florida, possibly. That's been a match we've been talking about for a long time, but just restrictions have not allowed it. But he's kind of a pretty dominant force down there around 190, 200. So we kind of wanted to pump up that one for some extra content as well. So
that'll be a very, very good rangefinder guide for me. That will.
Yeah.
One of the most difficult things here is actually matching you up. I've had to go off legend and word of mouth, which I'm going to be honest with you is not something I like to do, John. As we spoke about this beforehand, I like very, very, in fact, I'm going to say maybe never. I put a guy into a match that I don't know anything really about, haven't had personal experience with at all. You may be the first. That's going to be great to let that happen and understand where your level's at with guys that I do know a little bit about in that respect. And I'm sure David will be watching and taking notes on those. So, yeah.
David, I'm going to hide you from my channel.
Singing, yeah. Fans.
So, yeah, Goodman has just come in. Mate, thank you very much for your super chat, brother. I love this dude. One of the owners of the very rare but very sexy Rail of Cat shirts. Sent me a picture over. Yep, awesome. He's put beers for you all. Well, a pint and a bag of crisps if you're lucky. With a £5 super chat. Lovely darts. Not in Edinburgh. It's cost you about 20 quid. Right. But good luck, boy. Can't wait. Go UK. Mate, I believe you're coming over, aren't you? Put in the chat. Yep, I think he's coming over to the Arnold Classic. I think there are still some tickets available for the Friday. Don't know about the Saturday, but get on there and have a look, guys. It's going to be a ridiculous card. If everything goes to plan and the UK opens its doors in July, we got some crazy matches there. And all these guys have probably been looking online at some of the stuff we've got. A lot we haven't released yet. Obviously, amazing headliner with RVJ and Sasho Andreev, which I know is going to be awesome. But I've got to be honest, that battleground is horrible.
That's pretty scary, yeah.
That is going to be so
that is going to be epic. Absolutely.
Do we know who the first matchups are yet?
Yes. The first matches are Hale versus Amelins, Holland versus Terasatis. So,
oh my God,
stupid level.
We gotta have a good match, man. Those are gonna be hard matches to go against. We gotta have a good match.
And the funny thing is that will have given you that extra rev up because you'll have watched that on the Friday. They go on the Friday. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Some good stuff right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been on here for about an hour and a half. I'm going to wrap it up at that. Let these guys just have the rest of the Friday, really. John just getting going. And I'm sure that David's got an exciting evening ahead. I want to say thanks to all the guys that have tuned into the show. Really appreciate you taking the time out. And I think this match is going to deliver. I think it's going to be an exciting matchup. I can't wait for it. Two really good characters. Watch for John's content. Remember, if you're not already subscribed to Uncle John, please get over there. Give this guy some love. Subscribe to the guy. He's going to be putting lots of stuff together with David and with other people that are on the show. Remember that shirt. We'll be putting that out very soon also as well. David, you got anything going on YouTube at the moment, mate? Where these guys?
No, I am planning on creating a channel just for the run-up.
Another woman ringing him there. Another sheep.
Apologies. Yeah, so I'm planning on creating a channel and getting a bit of content from this run up to the Arm Wars as well. Just to be amongst you guys.
Another thing you could do, David, go down the Ray route and adopt some kind of animal that you really like a lot.
Absolutely.
And a guy who's built like yourself, find a forest on a nice day, take a few snaps.
Yes.
Great. I'm probably going to go the other way myself and just lean against either a kebab shop or maybe even a chip shop wall with an ill-fitting small T-shirt, like Mike Aiello does, but without looking as good. I think that could work for me. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first trip to the Supernatural Strength channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Let everybody know about it. Have it tattooed on your penis. Whatever takes your fancy. But until we see you next time, take it easy, peeps.
Yes.
And we should be off.